Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Fallout 76. In today's video I have been waiting to do this video for a while because I wanted to spend as much playing time as I could before I give you my overall thoughts on the game, how I see it. So today's video I'm going to go through in quite a bit of detail and talk about how I have found the game, what I like, what I don't like, where I think Bethesda could improve. This is not a criticism video, this is just a video that talks about my own personal feelings on the game. I respect that you may not agree with everything I say and you have a different point of view, and that's absolutely fine. I don't see anything wrong with that, but please also respect the fact that I have a certain view on the game, and everybody that plays the game has different expectations and different things that they'll like and they don't like. But please feel free to offer your comments down below this video, or you can get the conversation continued and swap ideas and thoughts on our new Discord server, Gaming for XP Discord server. There is a link in the description. If you've not already joined that community, please do so. Lots of people that will give a point of view, give you some tips and tricks, and help you out. And certainly the one thing that I've found during this game is that every minute and hour that you play, the more you learn about the game, the more people that you talk to. Everybody's had a little bit of a different experience or has found out a little nugget of truth or a little nugget of information that helps, and we've been swapping. I know there's a number of us that have been swapping information constantly on this game and learning from each other, so I'd encourage you to do that. So at this time, the time of recording, or at least the time when this video goes out, I would have completed around 15 to 20 hours of gameplay, and I have split that up into playing solo, playing with a team, playing solo but having a number of people in the same vicinity and interacting with people. So I've kind of done a number of extremes in the game, and that's been done very, very deliberately just to get a feel for how things go. Now I have a list of things written down here, and I'll go through them as we go through this video and try and cover each and every one of them. What I've been doing is I've been noting down things as I've been playing, and chatting with a number of people and getting their view on it and trying to get kind of a rounded view. And hopefully this helps you if you're still sitting on the fence and you're not sure about Fallout 76 or whatever. It might help you to make a decision either way. Now I've got to say straight at the gate, this is a beta. We've got to keep in mind it's a beta. I think it's been fantastic that Bethesda have given us early access and have been brave enough to allow us to play the game and find some of the bugs, give them feedback, etc. What I would say straight away is I think this game has a long way to go. I think there's a whole lot of improvements that are needed, and I fully anticipate that the game will be improved over time because of the very nature of it being an online game and the ability to do that as we go through the game, as opposed to just a game that's released and has no online component and is worked on in the background in a big update released. They can update virtually constantly as we go through. What I would say about the updating process, and this is one of the things that I want to raise first, I hope that they change how they update the game. In the beta, if you haven't played it or aren't part of the beta and you didn't know, the update file size was around 48 to 50 gigs. and there was a major issue for PC players just before they went to their first live session in the beta, and they had to re-download. A lot of them, I know I've spoke to a few of them that had to re-download that file and essentially missed out on that first session. So I think, I'd like to see Bethesda go to a completely different way of doing that when the game goes live on November the 14th, and I'm sure they will. I don't think it's viable for an update to the game to be done every time by uploading or downloading a file of 48 to 50 gig. I think that's just untenable. And I'd like to see them do what other games like Call of Duty do, where anything that they need to push, they can either push when you log in, and it takes virtually 30 seconds to a minute to do, and it restarts, or if it's a more of a major update to the game, it really is only about 3 or 4 gigabyte file that updates the game. So again, it is in beta. It is a beta version. I'm sure they will improve that, but I just want to put that out there because I know a lot of people got very frustrated with that. They were very excited to play the game, and then straight away they couldn't. So is this Fallout 4 just a Fallout 4 game put online? And the quick answer to that is absolutely not. Fallout 76, although many of the assets in the game will be very familiar, and assets that I've certainly used as a builder in Fallout 4, the game plays completely, completely different. It is. There are, not to say that it isn't similar to Fallout 4, because it is. A lot of the controls work very similarly, but it is quite a different game. One of the big changes, as opposed to Fallout 4, is, and really any of the other Fallout games, New Vegas or 3 or whatever, is graphically, it is just spectacular, and it just looks so nice. They've obviously taken a bit of a leaf out of the book of some of the mods, certainly some of the mods that I've run in Fallout 4, and they've added them to the game, because you can see there are actually real trees now. There are actually grasslands in this game. The lighting is superb. For an online game, there has been a few issues in the beta, and I would suggest that it might just be the beta. Where they're really pushing things to see where things are. You can see the map. I love the way the map is. It is. I like this map much better than I do a Pip-Boy map. But just graphically, it is so much more pleasing to be in this environment, as opposed to everything is grey or green, or it really does help, I think, with the immersion of the game and being in a very familiar but yet dangerous environment. And it certainly is not an easy environment to be in. And I haven't, although 15 to 20 hours might sound a lot of gameplay, I really haven't ventured that far in the map. The map is absolutely massive. So yep, the overall look of it and feel of the game, and if you like exploration, there is months and months and months and hours of exploration in this game. If that's your thing, you will absolutely love it. So let's talk a little bit about the gameplay aspects of the game. And there are no NPCs in the game. And first of all, somebody asked me after my first session, what did I think about that? And I said I wasn't bothered. I have changed my view a little on that. I think it would have been a better addition to have NPCs like Pennington or human NPCs in the game. When you pick up holotapes and gain quests, I think that it is very impersonal, and I don't think you are going to make as much of an effort to get onto that quest straight away and save people and do whatever you need to do. As opposed to if it was a real person. It's, you know, it's basically another holotape that sits in your inventory, and you get to it. I've got to say, with the quests in general, you pick up a lot of notes, you pick up a lot of holotapes, and your screen fills up very very quickly. So here we go. You can see I've got all kinds of stuff going on, and you can't decipher what's side quests, what's main quests. You can see a lot of the kind of, there's diamonds and dots and all kinds of stuff leading in all kind of different directions with all the different quests. Now, luckily, and what I do really like in this game is, rather than have a list of quests and then a miscellaneous section, there is a section in your Pip-Boy under data that allows you to switch on and off main quests and switch on and off side quests, and that helps to clean up your screen quite nicely. And you'll see in a second that's exactly what I did in this playthrough. I was just getting a bit annoyed with everything on my screen, and you can see you can switch off your events, your dailies, your side. You can so there's a lot of things that you can do here to help clean up your screen and just let you concentrate. And you can see, look at the difference in the screen now compared to a couple of minutes ago. So how about co-op versus solo? Working with a team and working on your own. Well, I think you will enjoy the game however you wish to play it. Certainly, it's quite clear that this game has been set up to be focused much more on working as a team. There's no doubt about that. It's no secret, and there are a lot of benefits to working as a team. As a solo player, if you like a challenge, I think you'll enjoy playing this game, and I certainly have enjoyed just roaming, going off on my own and roaming around. What I would say is that some of the fights you're going to get into are going to be extremely difficult for you to win, and I'll talk about that in a while when I come to talking about enemies. When you're solo, it is very, very nice if you go exploring and you suddenly get into trouble to be able to get onto your microphone and say help, help, help. Now, you don't need to be in a team to do that. I was playing with a couple of guys the other day. We weren't teamed up, but we were all in the kind of same server in the same area. I got into trouble, my AP ran out, and you can watch that video with Nacho and Mikey if you like, and I gave them a shout out and said I need some help, and they came running, helped me out. So I think that you'll find where you want to play the game. I think it's great that it gives you the option to either go solo or go with a team, or just to have people around you that can help. And I've also had complete strangers that I've helped and they've helped me, which I think is a really, really nice addition to the game. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, and the one that most people were a bit apprehensive about, and that's PvP. And I've got to say, don't forget, in the beta, we'd all been forced into the game at the same time. So the volume of people was much higher than I would think the game will see when the game launches. In the time that I've been playing, all those hours I've been playing, I've had one incident where somebody was trying to be a bit of a douchebag. And it actually happened live on stream. So if you were tuned into that stream, you would know the one, or if you watched it since, you would know the one I'm talking about. And it wasn't a major issue. Here is the guy here. I am Cabell, and he had luckily for me, he had a ransom on his head, a bounty on his head, and he started to try and shoot me. And the thing to do is just basically ignore them. They do, when they shoot you or they melee you, they'll do a very little amount of damage. You'll recover that damage. If you don't engage them, there is nothing they can do. You'll see in a minute. I just end up blocking this guy, and you know, worst case scenario, just change servers. It wasn't a major issue. What ended up happening with this guy, somebody else came along and killed him for me, and it was a non-event. So I'm not very worried about PvP. There are some strategies that you can employ, as I've just described, to get through it. There was a higher concentration of people in the server during the beta, so I don't see it as being a major issue in this game. Okay, let's take that a little bit further and talk about enemies. And you know, so far I've come across a number of enemies. The majority are either ghouls, mutants, scorched. And I think those are the three. I'm trying to think if I've super mutants here. I think that's the three. I think at this point there are far too many scorched in the game. I think that needs to change. It might be where I'm on the map, but it just seems there's far too many now. One of the things I don't like about these enemies, and you can see it happens here. I was fighting a level 5 ghoul, and suddenly out of nowhere, and I'm about level 6, level 7. He's actually level 3 ghoul. Yeah, there's a level 15 ghoul appears, and that happens fairly frequently. Oh, that's it, right. I've some of the robots. I've fought some robots and stuff, and a whole lot of other kind of stuff. But I don't know what is going on with these higher level enemies just suddenly appearing. It's a bit weird. To me, having played Fallout 4 and having the different parts of the map, having different strength enemies in it makes a lot more sense to me, and to be fighting level 3 or level 5 enemies and then suddenly you have an enemy that's double your strength come at you, I think is a bit strange. The enemies in this game are not too hard to deal with as such. The biggest issue that I have is the mechanics, how they approach you is quite different compared to Fallout 4. Now, I'm going to show you some footage now. So Quicksmoke and I were playing together with Draco Invictus, and we'd gone to the water park for the day, and suddenly, out of nowhere, these guys appeared, these scorched guys. And you can see how many of these guys are and how they swarm you. They just come at you in a big heap. Plus there are guys off to the side killing you, and you know, even though there was 2 of us, Mikey dies and then I die, and then Mikey dies and then I die, and I think if you're in a team that's fine, but if you're playing solo you have no chance when that happens. Now I've got to say as well though, you saw the level 15 that I came up against before. I really didn't have too much of a drama getting rid of him, but when they swarm you like this, it's very, very difficult to be successful. So just be aware that you may have to just run away and get out. You can see it doesn't matter how I try and get away, there are guys everywhere. Now this may have been an event, I'm not sure. It feels like horde mode. They were just constantly coming at us, and you'll see in a second I go down. I'm not a big fan of that in this game, but there again, you know, I will come up with higher level armor, higher level. I might not, maybe I shouldn't have been in this area, I'm not sure, but not a great fan of that as far as enemies go. Apart from that, the enemies are pretty good in this game, pretty easy to kill. If you take your time and you employ the right strategies. So let's move on to survival mode, and I've got to be upfront with this. I do not like this system as it sits at the moment. I think it will improve as I get more perks and I build up, but personally at this point I do not like it, and I'll tell you why. I am fully immersed in a game. I do not want to be taken out of that game to have to manage how much I'm drinking, how much I'm eating. I don't like the fact that in the middle of a fight it kicks in. I just, it's messy, and I'm not a fan at this point of the game with the soft survival mode. But having said that, I don't think that's unique to Fallout 76. I just think I like to be immersed in the game and move forward. And anything that takes me out of the game, it means I have to stop what I'm doing and attend to things there and then. I dislike. If I could attend to it a little bit later, or when I'm ready, it would be much better for me personally. The AP is something I think the fix for it for me personally is a longer duration, and as I said, maybe it's just the perk cards will fix that up, but it's a bit clunky for me at this point. And I think what compounds it is that you're constantly if food and the things that you need to look for were in abundance in the game, then it might not be such a huge issue. But I'm constantly finding myself looking for food and water and everything else so that I can attend to my AP, and it's very, very distracting, and it's taking away from my enjoyment of the gameplay in the game. Now, if you want to understand how AP works, I have done a game guide, and I will leave a link about now so that you can check that out. And so to weapons. I have never enjoyed the fact, I loved the fact in Fallout 4 that when you got a weapon, the weapon worked. You didn't have to worry about it. All you had to do is find bullets for it and shoot it. Back in Fallout 76, suddenly we have weapons that break. And I've never been a fan of that. I've never understood why a weapon would break the more you use it. I've never understood that mechanic, and I've never been a big fan. I know a lot of people like it, and that's fine. For me personally, I've never liked it. That's the first point that I'd like to make. The second thing that I'm a bit frustrated about is the fact that I am picking up guns, and one of the key things that you have to do, you must scrap weapons and armor and various things in this game to be able to modify them and repair them. And that's been my advice. Rather than sell them, scrap them and use those parts to improve weapon handling. One of the frustrating things that I'm finding at the moment when you do that is that some weapons will not allow you to repair them. And I had an instance the other day when I'd found, I have no clothes on, sorry about that. I had an instance the other day when I had found a really, really nice shotgun. I was in the middle of a fight, it broke, fine, that's no problem, I'll get another weapon and we continue on the fight. When I came to the weapons bench to fix it, it would not allow me to fix it, and I cannot figure out for the life of me why that is so. If anybody knows what's happening with that, please let me know. But that is getting very, very frustrating. I'd rather have the system that we had in Fallout 3 and in Fallout New Vegas if the weapons are going to be broken, where you could use similar weapons to fix them. Once again, you have to get at what you're doing, find a workbench, scrap things, repair the weapon, modify it, and then you're back into the game. And again, it's a bit similar to the AP. Takes you out of the game for far too long. And I'd prefer the system in previous Fallouts, or ideally Fallout 4, where I don't even have to worry about it. And leading on from that, I want to talk about the favourites and swapping weapons in this game. I would like to see them bring back the system that we've had in Fallout 3, in Fallout New Vegas, and in Fallout 4. I do not like the wheel. It is getting me killed. I can't swap weapons quick enough in a gunfight, especially with the new mechanic where enemies swarm you. It is just too difficult to try and negotiate quickly to the weapon that you want in a gunfight. I've had a number of instances where I've run out of bullets, tried to swap my weapons, couldn't find the right one under the pressure of battle, and ended up getting killed. So I'd like to see them bring back the old wheel. Apart from that, the emotes, emotes are fun. The D-pad in general is doing a heck of a lot more work than it has in any Fallout game previously, and hence why I think we've got the wheel of weapons or favorited items. I'm just not a fan of this at all. And I'm starting to sound very negative in this video, and I apologise, but I'll have to be honest about what I do like and what I'm just finding I'm struggling a bit with, and this is one of the things that is really, really annoying me. Bringing back the way that we did it in Fallout 4, and I'll be very, very happy. So let's get back onto the sunny side of the street. This is something that I really like. I like the ability to change your character anytime you like. When my first playthrough on the beta, I was live streaming, so I've come out of the vault. I've quickly put my character's head together, and off we went. So it is really nice to come back and actually customize it to the point where you want it to be, and experiment. And there's so many options for changing character. It's not funny. So thumbs up to Bethesda for that. It is a really nice addition to the game. And so to the last thing, and something that's true and dear to my heart, is the building component in this game. Now, I'm not sure if it's my expectation of what we expected as a kind of continuation of the Fallout 4 type of building. The building in this game is nothing like Fallout 4. The camp system, I don't think, is designed for that anyway. And I did have a long conversation with a couple of fellow YouTubers and part of the Fallout community today, and I sort of get why the camp system is the way it is. And I think it's fair to say, don't expect to see huge settlements built in this game. I don't think, given that it's online and the server capacity and all those kind of things, that it's going to allow for you to build massive settlements like we do in Fallout 4. Maybe once we get the private servers, possibly that'll be possible, but I've got to say, fundamentally, the system that we have, the camp system that we have, and the way that it works, it is very restrictive. No pillar glitch, not sure about the rug glitch yet, but certainly no pillar glitch. You cannot put walls down on the ground to manipulate them. Everything must snap together. The fact that you have to go out into the wasteland and find blueprints for everything is, to be perfectly blunt, damned annoying. And I've built a couple of camps now and got most of the way through and run out of resources. So that's nothing new. Fallout 4 was like that, but there is no room for creativity in this building process at this point. Now, I fully expect as I unlock things, and I have seen a couple of really nice camps around the place, and so you can make a nice little camp for yourself. Don't get me wrong, you're going to be able to do a little bit of finagling, but it is going to be pretty much just a snap together box with a roof. And the options for doing a lot of the creative stuff that we've done over the last few years is going to be very, very limited with this system. Now, the more we get into it, the more items we're going to unlock, the more we're going to understand this a little bit better. What I do like is the ability to bring this camp system up at any point in the wasteland. Now, there are some, it's a little bit more restrictive than we're led to believe, that you could place it anywhere. That's not quite true. You can place it in many places, but if there are existing buildings in the game, you have to push out and push out and push out until you find a place where the camp system will go down. So you can't place it everywhere. But it is nice just to drop it, dump your junk in the camp system, leave it on the side of the road, and then continue on your way. Now, I think once you build a camp like I'm here, then you're going to be less inclined to do that. But once you get all your blueprints into place, one of the nice things if you're working with a team, if you don't have the blueprint for a specific, say, workbench, say a chemistry workbench or anything, and somebody else does, like I've got excess plans for water pumps, one of your team members can come along into your camp and actually build that for you. So I think that's quite a nice addition to the system. But overall, I'm not thrilled about this camp system, but I think it's also got a lot to do with the fact that I had a lot of very high expectations for what you can see there. I can't place that door anywhere. I had a very high expectation on maybe from a creative point of view what this might offer, and it certainly just is not going to meet that expectation at this point. But I think in context of what it's designed to do within Fallout 76, it does work very nicely indeed, and it is fit for purpose, is the best way I can put it. So there you go. There is my thoughts about Fallout 76 to this point. Let me reiterate, I am enjoying the game very much. There are a number of things that personally I would like to see improved, and if you got to the end, you would have got that very quickly. However, if this is the game, then we will work around things, and it's not a case I'm going to stop playing it. This video is designed to give my personal point of view and also be constructive and not be negative in what I'm saying, and hopefully we've achieved that. I would like that to be in a shorter video, but it wasn't possible, and in fact I didn't cover everything I had written down, but I've got the main points. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments and your thoughts down below, or join the Discord server and leave them there. I would really love to hear how your experience has been with this game to this point and what your feelings are. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya.